Hey now, what's that? All that Duncan Dad stuff popping up there. Duncan Dad is everywhere. He's not even on this show, and his stuff popped back up. You just got to turn your camera back on there, Ted. There he is. All right. And Duncan just cuts in on everything. Did you see all his logos pop up right there at the end?
No, I only
Oh
saw
yeah.
my sport. No, I only saw Sports Profits logo.
Oh yeah. At
I
the
was
end of
looking
the
down at my phone for a second though. That could be why.
yeah. This guy's always trying to cut in. Even shows that he's not on. He's trying to get on. How you doing,
Hey,
man? It's been a while. It's
it's
been
been
two
a
weeks
while,
we've been
man.
down.
You guys cut out on the last one for the World Series and the hurricane for Wednesday.
The hurricane. Did you get anything down there? I got like two leaves and a stick fell down in my yard.
No, I have this vent outside of my house that rattles whenever it's a little windy. So I heard the vent rattling a little bit. I said, "Oh, maybe we have some action." But no, it wasn't anything at all.
Nah, us either. But it was a nice snow day, man. We don't get snow days down here, but
It was cool, for me it wasn't a snow day, but for the kids it was a snow day, and I guess it's an excuse. Like if you need to get out of something, it's an excuse. Like, oh, the hurricane, I can't do that today.
I had my girl make up a post about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. First time we've closed ever in 2 years. Said we're closed until Friday. I
Yeah.
needed to decompose or decompress or whatever, or probably both decompose and decompress.
Decompress is good. Decompose I don't think is so good.
I don't know.
For
Depends on how you're
decomposing,
feeling.
you're not doing the right thing. So are we live now?
We're live. We're
Oh,
live. We got
cool.
we got an audience. We're here.
All
We're
right, man.
here.
Yeah. So, I was gonna do like 5 games, but then I just cut it down to two because we have quite a record going. I think we're 7-2, right? On
I
these
believe
college
so.
games.
We just had one rough week. That was it.
Yeah. So the first week we went 2-1, so that was one loss, and then we
Okay.
lost on another. I forget which game it was, but we lost the second week. So 7-2, and before I get into these games, I want to talk about kind of what happened last week in college football because Alabama lost again, which the whole world's going crazy because when a team like Alabama loses twice in the same season, that's like, I mean, and that's what I love about college football. It's you got to have that perfection to really be at the top. So when Alabama lost that second game, they actually lost it to the kid who caught the winning touchdown for LSU went to St. Thomas in Fort Lauderdale, so he was a hometown kid,
Nice.
which I guess is pretty. It's not that it's common because there's so many guys that are
Coming
from
in
Fort
Florida.
Lauderdale, Miami, West Palm area that are college stars and NFL stars. Or
So
the
we got to
cap
get
the
that.
foot.
You got to get that guy in your show now. Then he's a local guy.
Yeah, and you could pay him now. You could pay the college kids now, so it's you wouldn't be breaking any laws.
Nice.
The teams can't pay them, but you know about that, right? Name,
Yeah.
image, likeness. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so you can actually pay them now. We should get them on the podcast.
It's about
Um,
time.
and Georgia absolutely annihilated Tennessee. It wasn't really that close. I don't know if you remember this, but I came on your show and gave Georgia out in one of the weeks, and it was a
I
big
do.
spread. It was a big spread,
30.
and
It was a 30-point spread. I remember. I
yeah,
remember it like it was
and
yesterday.
I think it was you that was like, "Wow, that's a lot." I don't know, but here's what I said in that podcast. I said, beyond this game, I like them to win it all, right? And at that point, the future bet for them to win it all was somewhere between plus 200 and plus 250. So you had to lay $100, and if they win it all, you get back 200 or 250. Now, after last week, so I hope people were listening to me because after last week, they are now minus 120 to win it all.
How
So you
how
have to lay
how can they be minus 120 at this
be-
point?
because they're that good.
Wow.
Because they're that good. So now you got to lay 120 to win 100 if and that's the thing. I mean, for early December for a college football team to be in the minus to win it all. And I think the big part of that is because Alabama's out of the way. They already beat Tennessee, who beat Alabama, who everybody was, oh, Tennessee's the next, because Tennessee has a great offense. Tennessee has the top scoring offense in the country. And then they went to Georgia, played Georgia, and put up like 13 points. So that's just how stout this Georgia defense is. So now I would say, I mean, it's probably not even a good bet at this point. Um, you know, are they probably going to win it all? Yes, but would I ever lay in early November 120 to win 100 on a team to win it all? Probably not.
Can I
It's
bet the
just
field at this point? Is there a bet where it's just like everybody anybody else but them?
there could be another big betting change that happened. Politics, man. Donald Trump was the favorite to win the presidency in 2024. DeSantis was number two, and that flipped. That flipped over this past week with everything going on too. So let's give a nice clap for Florida. That's
Yeah, I have
I saw you wearing the shirt in your Instagram. Now
I
that's
did. I went out and voted. I represented
now. Did you
DeSantis.
wear that shirt to the polls?
I did. I
See,
did.
I
I'm
always
not. I'm
thought you
not.
weren't. I always thought you weren't allowed to wear the shirts into the polls. So that's why I never did it.
I don't. I don't know. I also took a picture of my ballot and then I posted it, and then people started hitting me up, telling me you got to take that down. That's
Yeah,
illegal. I don't know
yeah,
if it is or it isn't.
it is. You can get in a little bit of trouble for that.
Is it?
I don't know if anyone actually cares, but
I
it's
think the trouble is on the other side because I post my ballot and then they go and do their monkey business with it and change all the results around. So
yeah.
that's
Well, that's like we were talking about. Eventually, I think we're gonna do a show. We're gonna mix a little bit of that with a little bit of sports, and take like a Wayne Allen root style to it, where we predict winners in football and basketball, and then we predict winners in elections as well. Now,
you
an
know
interesting thing to bet on elections, you can't bet on elections with the legal sports books, like the FanDuels and the DraftKings and that are in the states. They don't
we gotta
have
go
those.
offshore.
Yeah, you got to go offshore for that.
So hey, if you end up doing this, hang on, let me find it real fast here. I don't like to toot my own horn. I'm not gonna put the number out there, but I'll hold this up to the screen if you can see my in my phone. Where the hell's my screen? Can you see that?
I can.
Yeah. Again, I don't like to talk about my connections, but I got Lenny Dykstra and I got Ron DeSantis in my
There
phone.
you
So
go. Those are two good numbers to have.
I guess they
Now you
are,
just
right?
get those two together, and that'll be an interesting time.
That's I thinking that he's gonna pick Dykstra to be his running mate.
Really?
No, no,
I know.
absolutely not. Lenny's a good guy,
um,
but no, I don't think he's cut out for that.
so yeah, some interesting stuff. So Florida had the red wave, and then now you're going to see this big beef between Trump and DeSantis. Um, and it's kind of like, I'm at the point where I don't know which side to take because I see the arguments on both sides. So it's kind of one of those time will tell things, but I don't have time to read it all. But Trump just dropped this long thing of just basically saying, um, here's what I'll say about DeSantis. He was great. He is great for Florida, but he's being backed by the same people who were against Trump in 2014 and 2015 and 2016, and that scares me. That kind of makes me feel like if he does get to Washington, he's going to kind of fall in line with the agenda of the Republican Party before Trump came along and made it more of a populist, America First party. Trump didn't have the billionaires behind him. Ron DeSantis does. So, like I said, we'll see how it turns out. But I think it's definitely something that's going to be huge to look at as 2023 gets here and throughout the year. And I'm strongly considering launching a show that kind of tracks that and follows that and some other things. And hey, we'll see how true the no filter title really is, right?
Oh, it's true. It's true. I know for a fact that it's true.
Because I'll put it to the test, AJ. I'll put it to the test.
I this is what drives me nuts. So I voted for Trump twice, and I would vote for Trump again. But why? Why today? Why yesterday? Why the day before the elections? He's attacking DeSantis. And you get DeSantis is keeping his distance, he's keeping his mouth shut when it comes to Trump. I don't get I just don't, man, I just don't get what goes on in that. If he would just shut the frig up, he would have been perfect,
You know, the
in my
Republican
opinion.
the Republican Party before Trump was really a party of, rich white people. And I think that he changed the party. I mean, look at the Hispanic vote. Look at Florida, um, Dade County. It's really amazing where it's gotten to, and part of it is because of DeSantis, but obviously Trump kind of gave it that spark. I wasn't even really into politics before he came along, and I'm deeply into it now, and I just think that there's a little bit of a you know of a like I made you and I can break you, that type of thing. And could it turn into spite at one point? If the whole party turns its back on him, and this might not be good for the country and it might not be good for our wallets and our future, but I could see him just saying, you know what? I made you and now you're turning on me again, and I'm gonna break you. And he could do it. So it's something that we'll watch and I think we'll be talking about. And I think when my show does start, I want it to start as soon as possible, but part of me thinks it might not launch until 2023.
It started. You're on
Um,
it right now. You realize that,
well,
right?
yeah,
You're on it right
this
now.
is not official, but yeah, this is a little test run, right? So I think when it does start, I think we'll be talking about all this stuff, and um, it's definitely interesting, and it's going to be a fun 2 years. And after at the end of it all, it is entertainment. Just like it affects our future. Like when we talk about these football games, whatever happens in these football games, once the game's over, it's over. It doesn't affect our future. This is like it's a double it's a double thing because it's entertaining to talk about, it's fun to predict what's going to happen, and then it actually affects us what happens. So,
It's
but
gonna be
we'll
a long
see.
2 years, buddy.
Like I said, we got to get a little crazy and we got to put the no filter title to the test. So, like I wanted to do like 5 6 games, and I said to myself, you know what if, I don't want to have a really bad week and ruin what we've been putting together the whole year, so I'm going to keep it small, and I'm going to keep it to 2 games. And then after that, I'm going to ask you for an NFL prediction because you've been crushing it. So
Oh,
while I'm
dude,
breaking this down, you might want to go through
I'm gonna have to because I didn't
your.
look at the games
I
yet.
I
The Jets have been my lock week after week after week, and they're on a bye. So I'll
I've
take a look while you're.
I've been kind of riding. I've been riding with the Falcons. Um, the Falcons have kept me afloat and kept me above 60% in my NFL because I've just rode them every week. Like even last week they were 3.5 point dogs, 4 point dogs. Then it went down to 2.5, and I said, you know what? If you're watching me, you see it. Buy that point back to 3.5 and play the Falcons at 3.5, and they lost by 3, so the 3.5 covered. So that was nice.
Well, I don't know if this is my lock, but I just opened it up. The Falcons are about to play in a little while, and I like them -2.5 against the Panthers. But let me
Yeah.
keep looking at this right here. I'll give you my lock. I
Well, if
like that.
anyone's if anyone's watching that didn't see my YouTube video or doesn't watch my YouTube, I actually gave out the over in that game. So you got about 45 minutes if you want to put in the over in the Falcons. But then I realized that the hurricane's hitting Carolina and the weather's bad in Carolina, or the bands or something. There's some stuff going up to Carolina, storm movement. So it's supposed to be raining. So that kind of could ruin the over. So, if you are going to play it, it sucks when you have a weather situation like that. When you have, you have two of the worst defenses. I think the Falcons are 31st or 29th, and then Carolina's 31st. So you have two really weak defenses. You have a Falcons offense that gets the job done. They're top half of the league in offense. So, but yeah, I'm gonna get into one of my college games while you're looking at that NFL.
All right, I'm with you. I
And it's
can
gonna be
multitask.
yeah. It's gonna be an SEC matchup between Kentucky and Vanderbilt. Kentucky's been a real pleasant surprise this year. Just started off really hot, kind of cooled down a little bit, but still a pleasant surprise. Vanderbilt's god awful. They're 3-6 this year. They lost their first. Or actually, no. At the beginning, they were okay, and then they lost 5 in a row. So they started off 3-1, lost 5 in a row. Decent offense. They put up 30 points per game. Um, they turn the ball. They put it this way: they put up 29 touchdowns and they've turned the ball over 15 times. That is a ratio that is not going to get you many W's. On the other hand, defensively, they're ranked 92nd in the country, giving up 37 points per game. Just not good stuff. Kentucky 6-3. Kentucky, like I said, they started off hot 4-0. They've lost 3 of their last 5, but it's okay. Offensively, they're solid. Defensively, Kentucky is ranked 22nd in overall scoring as far as how many points they're allowing. Kentucky's covered 4 of their last 5 spreads. Kentucky is 12-2 in their last 14 home games overall. They're 6-3 against the spread overall, and Vanderbilt is 1-4 against the spread in their last 5. This is a type of game where the public is going to look at this and they're going to see a 17-point spread, and they're going to veer away from Kentucky because of that. And it's kind of like the Georgia game that we gave out. So one thing in college football is do not let these massive spreads scare you away. A lot of times the odds makers will put them a little bit higher just to do that, just to scare people away. So this Kentucky spread, and this is something that goes beyond this game, and that's kind of what I want to do with these shows as well, is beyond giving just the prediction, give a little tool or a little tip that people will be able to look at other games and recognize something. So 17, and then the line moved to 18, right? So when that happens, that tells me, and it's not 100%, like nothing is in this business, but that tells me that the odds makers don't want you playing the team that's a 17-point favorite if they're going to move it to 18. And that makes me like it even more. So I'm going with Kentucky. I'm buying it back to 17. You got 2 mediocre offenses, but you got a really stout Kentucky defense, that SEC style defense, and I think they get the job done there. 17-point spread.
So Kentucky minus 17.
Kentucky minus 17 for that first one. Yep.
And when is that game? Saturday? Do you know?
These are both Saturday. That game is at 12 o'clock on Saturday, and then we have another one. The next game that I'm going to give out here is going to be 7 o'clock Saturday night. So I did a little early game, a little later game. The second game is the Kansas Jayhawks versus the Texas Tech Red Raiders. This is going to be an entertaining one. You're talking about the number 17th ranked offense as far as scoring in Kansas and the 35th ranked offense. So I know not all of your viewers are big college football guys. I know you're not a big college football guy. So when I look at the games and I decide which game I'm going to bring to the table to predict, I obviously go with something that I like to win, and it's been working out. But I like to give a game that's going to be entertaining to watch, right? Because I want to create college football fans by saying, hey, this is the prediction, but also this is going to be a really fun game to watch. So check it out, right?
You gotta
So that's
suck
what
us
this
in. You gotta suck us in. If you just give us
exactly
winners and they're boring,
exactly.
we're
I
gonna
can't
take our money and dip. You're like a crack
exactly.
dealer. I understand. Remember this: no crackhead ever woke up the next morning and still had crack left. So you're doing the right thing. You got to drag us in.
And there's another saying, no crackhead ever said, I don't have money for crack. They find a way. They always find a way. And that's a life motto. And when you think about that, if you could find a way to do that, you can find a way to do anything. But yeah, so the number 17th versus number 35th ranked offense, number 102nd ranked, 100 ranked defense versus a 90th ranked defense. So this is going to be like touchdown every drive, just probably going to go over. I don't even know what the over under is in this game, but probably going to go over. Kansas started the season 5-0. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games, but they just beat number 18th ranked Oklahoma State, which I actually gave out that game, Kansas over Oklahoma State. Did really well last week, actually, but like I said, these are two weak defenses, right? And really powerful offenses. The only quality thing in this game about the defense is Kansas does sack the quarterback and they do pick the ball off. They have 11 interceptions, which is ranked 15th in the country. So when I look at that, I say, okay, two weak defenses, but Kansas has those bright spots. So now let's go over to Texas Tech. Texas Tech lost in their last game to TCU, but if you're following college football, you know that TCU this year is a very special team. They're right on the cusp of being in the playoffs, possibly in the playoffs already. Depends on how things go and how the year plays out. They could definitely make it. You got Ohio State, you got Georgia. Um, and those are the two teams that I think are the favorites to win it all right now. And that's what everyone's predicting is going to be the matchup. But you do have teams on the outside like TCU that can still come in and get it done.
Can
Texas Tech
Tennessee
Red.
still can Tennessee still squeak in, or are they finished now?
Um, it's going to be really hard. They have a very good offense. They lost to Georgia. I have to look at their path, but it's going to be tough for them. I think, um, because when you do lose, you want to lose early in the season. But if you are going to lose later in the season, you want to lose to a really good team, and they
Mhm.
did, and they also beat Alabama. But here's the problem with Tennessee also now, and this is what gets crazy about college football is Tennessee. They beat Alabama, right? And then Alabama goes and loses a second game. So, like, if Alabama wins out after losing to Tennessee, it actually makes Tennessee look better. So,
That strength of
that's the
schedule
crazy
trip.
thing about your destiny depends on what your opponents do against other people, and so it's out of your control in a lot of ways. So that's what's going to hurt Tennessee, and I guess that's what some people hate about college football. That's what some people look at college football and they say, okay, um, we like the NFL because you're in your own, you're in control of your own shit and all that stuff. But as of right now, Tennessee is still. I'm looking at it right now. I personally, so this is tough. The SEC is so good. It's so good. Oregon is a very good team. Oregon's ranked fifth right now. So Tennessee right now is ranked fourth. If so, technically, they should get in, but things change every week. How much they win by, what their opponents are doing against other teams, all this stuff matters. As of right now, the odds makers have Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and Tennessee as the four teams going to the playoffs. The playoff, the college football playoff, which is going to get extended to 8 teams soon. So I think that's going to be good. Um, Bama probably not going to have a chance. LSU, they beat Alabama, but and then Oregon is very strong also. But time will tell. The next few weeks things will play out a
It's
lot.
almost over, right? There's only a couple of weeks left.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I don't love about college football. It's a very short season, like 12 to
Mhm.
13 regular season games, and then you have like a month off, and then the bowl games. So I wish college football is a little bit longer, but for obvious reasons, these kids are going out there, they're getting their bodies beat up every week, and they are only college students. They're not getting paid to do it. So it is what it is. It's not like baseball, man. Baseball is a grueling, long season, and they deserve that pay just because of how much time they put into it. I mean, the body, the stuff that happens to your body in football, that's obviously very tough, but I mean, the mental focus to just play 162 games is crazy. It's absolutely insane.
This baseball season seems so long. I was exhausted at the end of it. I almost didn't even care if the Phillies won or not. I just let it be over. I
Yeah.
was so tired of talking about baseball, of watching baseball. Of I'm
Yeah,
happy to be in the off
we
season.
had to put stuff off because of baseball. So yeah, I mean, I totally get it, and that's part of being in this sports. I guess you could call it prediction game, podcasting game. Is you got to be, you never want to focus on one sport too much. You got to pivot. You got to be able to stay on one sport while the new ones are coming in and kind of talk about those, and it gets crazy. And it's That's the good thing. College football, you're in, you're out. You get your job done, and once a week. The cool thing right now about college football is you got MACtion, which is the MAC conference in November, which I think they should do this all year. They play on Tuesday and Wednesday, so you got like 2 to 3 games on a Tuesday, 2 to 3 games on a Wednesday, and now Thursday night we got football. Friday. So right now we have football, and this is what I love about November. Every single night of the week, you got Mac on Tuesday and Wednesday. You got NFL on Thursday, obviously, and some random college. You got college on Friday, college on Saturday, NFL Sunday, NFL Monday. So we have about 3 weeks right now of football every single day. So I tell everybody out there, enjoy it while it's here because it doesn't last long.
So who do we have in this?
So yeah, in this Kansas game, Kansas is 7-1-1 against the spread this year, but they're 10-1-1 against the spread in their last 12 overall. Texas Tech, this is something I normally don't do, AJ. I'm going against the team that historically wins. So Texas Tech has Kansas's number. They generally beat Kansas. I think they are 9-4 against the spread against Kansas in the last 13 games, and even better straight up against Kansas. But this is a different year. This is a different Kansas team. Texas Tech is kind of on the decline right now. And here's something that's very interesting. Kansas is second in the Big 12 in sacks. They have 9 sacks in 21 games. And Texas Tech, even though Texas Tech has one of the best passing offenses in the league, whereas Kansas is more of a running offense, even though Texas Tech has one of the best passing offenses in the league, they've given up 34 sacks in 9 games. And Kansas is a good sack team. Think that Kansas gets to this quarterback a lot and really disrupts the passing game here. On top of the fact that Texas Tech's running defense, I don't think they're going to be able to stop Kansas. So basically, what I'm saying is Kansas has something in place to stop Texas Tech. They have the ability to get to the quarterback. Texas Tech doesn't really have much as far as their running defense to stop Kansas. Kansas is a 4-point dog in this game. I'm taking the points. Give me the points. Tell the bookie to give me the points. Give me the whole 4. If the game is at 3, guys, it's very important. If the game is at 3 or 2.5, by the time it goes off and you're making a late bet, move the line. You don't have to move it all the way to 4. But if this game's at 2.5, at least get it to 3. If the game's at 3, avoid the tie and get it to 3.5. And you guys have been watching me all year. You see that this small, I'm not talking about buying 2 3 points, but the small point adjustments, the small point buying, they make a difference, and they can take you from being a break even better to a profitable bet, as long as you don't get you don't want to just buy points on every single game, you know what I mean? But they make a huge difference, especially in these college football games. They make a huge difference.
All right. So right now it's 4. If it drops down, buy it at least up to 3. Buy it to
Yeah,
three and a
I
half.
mean,
Buy it
this
to
thing
4.
could be a lot of smart people are predicting Kansas to win this game outright. And so what I'm going to say is this is the type of game where, let's say I'm a guy that bets 100 to 500 bucks a game, right? This is the type of game where I might bet 300-400 on Kansas plus 3.5, plus 4, whatever the case is, and then take like another 100 or something and sprinkle it on the Kansas money line, which $100 bet on the Kansas money line might bring back 180. So then you really try to cash out. So then if they cover the spread but they lose, you're making money. But if they win outright, you're making a killing.
All right. So there's our 2
We
for the
call them
week.
in the business, in the sports profits, we call them double down dogs because they're a dog and you're playing them twice, doubling down on them. Double down dogs.
We got Kentucky minus 17. And we got Kansas plus 4 at this point.
Now let's keep your streak alive. Who do
All
we
right.
have
So
here?
this I mean, you put me on the spot and I didn't
I
look at this yet, but I'm gonna give you I think I'm gonna give you
but all,
a 14 parlay. How's that work for you?
okay.
I'm liking the Falcons tonight, minus 2.5. I'm liking the Giants. Where the hell were they? The Giants were -4.5 against the Texans. I'm liking the Eagles -11 on Monday night. And then there was a fourth game. Where was my fourth game? I'm tempted to go with the Colts. New coach, shaking things up. Where the hell was that fourth game? Give me 1 second. Oh, and this one might be a trap too, but it was Dallas. Where the hell are they? Dallas -4.5 against the Packers. Week after week, I keep telling myself the Packers are due. They're going to come back. They're going to turn it on. They're finished. They're toast. They'll be lucky if they get within 15 points of anybody else the rest of the season.
When everybody was talking about Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady both like kind of collapsing and faltering and all that, I said to myself, and I should have said it out loud, because when you say things out loud and you get things right, whatever. But I was thinking to myself, Tom Brady's going to turn it around, right? Tom Brady, for some reason, it's just like he always turns it around. Aaron Rodgers doesn't always turn it around. He usually turns it around, but sometimes he collapses. I don't know what's going on there. Listen, I'm a big believer in the psychedelics thing, but he was talking all offseason about the psychedelics. Maybe he didn't do enough uh, ayahuasca this offseason, or he didn't take enough mushrooms, or whatever the case is. But he he just doesn't have it, and it's it is what it is to watch. But I think you're right. I don't see him getting it together. I see Brady getting it together, and I think that game. I don't know if you saw that, but he came back and won the game with like 10 seconds left last
I heard
week,
about it.
and then he came out and he came to the podium at the press conference and he said that was fucking awesome. And I think that moment right there was like a big weight, like a big relief for him. And I think he relaxes now. And I think, before he had the marital issues, but it sounds like they're divorced now. It's official. And I think maybe that's like obviously he's not happy about it, but it's probably like a little weight lifted. Like, okay, the divorce is done. Like, I know what this. Before it was kind of
He's good now. He's banging some Hooters chick over there from Clearwater. I mean, how could you
exactly.
not play good if you were doing that?
And that's the thing. He's probably doing his thing now. He's banging whoever he wants. He's in Florida. A lot better to be single in Tampa than in New England,
Yeah,
right? So
sure. I think if and again, you put me on the spot. I didn't get to handicap any of this, but I'd say Atlanta's probably been my lock, but I like all four of those. So I'm going to give you a four-team parlay lock this
there
week.
we go. Yeah, I mean, Atlanta's covered every spread like we were talking about earlier, but one, they're just a great team. They're a great team to watch. I don't know if you saw that game against Carolina. That was a crazy game. They lost that game, but they covered the spread in it. It's actually the same game that's going on tonight. It was 2 weeks
Yep.
ago. Tonight's a rematch. And that was crazy. I mean, the quarterback got penalized so the quarterback tied the game with a Hail Mary 63-yard pass. Then in celebration, took his helmet off, got penalized. They got pushed back 15 yards on the extra point. They missed the extra point and did not win the game because of that, and it went to overtime.
Wow.
So
That is
that's
bonehead.
something when you watch it, you're like, shit, I should be watching college right now. These professionals should not be making these kind of mistakes. But they change the rules every year, so I kind of get it. Um, it, the no fun league, I think they gotta make some kind of adjustments there with that, because the celebration stuff. Let these guys celebrate. They're working hard. Scoring a touchdown in the NFL, it doesn't happen a lot. It's not like a home run where a good player's hitting 20, 30, 40 home runs, 62 like Judge. Um, but it's some of these players, they get five a year. Some get one or two a year. Let them let loose a little bit when they get that's my theory, at least.
All right, so I'm going to recap because coming up next, right here on the same channel, you got Captain Ron and Rockin' Reese with the TLC, and they're going to be breaking down all the NFL action and whatever other breaking stuff is coming up here. So we got Kentucky -17, Kansas +4, And then you get my 4-team or Atlanta -2.5, the Eagles -11 on Monday night, Dallas -4.5, and the Giants -4.5. What's your website? What's your YouTube?
Thesportsprofits.com is the website. YouTube just gave us our so we are now at the Sports Profits on YouTube. I guess you got to be on YouTube for a while to like earn your or whatever. So they just gave us our We're at the Sports Profits on YouTube, and then on Instagram we're Sports Profits _ 22-10 in our last 32 YouTube games. Let's keep the streak alive.
Nice. This was fun tonight, man. This is the kickoff of the Sports Profits revolution.
This is the kickoff. I would have started the weekly show a while ago, but football season's really crazy and busy for me. But we are putting the ideas together, and the show will be ready soon.
Cool. Well, we'll be back on Wednesday night finally, unless there's an earthquake or some sort of I don't know. But we'll be back on Wednesday. You'll be with us Wednesday night. Everybody check out tonight now Captain Ron and Rockin' Reese on TLC.
Very excited, and you got to save a little extra time for me the Wednesday before Thanksgiving if we're doing a show, because that's a big college football weekend, so I might want to break down a couple games that day also.
We are. All right, cool.
All right, AJ.
All right, man. Have a good night. Everybody, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.
Let's do it.
All right. I get some out music here. Where the hell is it? Here we go.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was waiting for. I was like,
there you go. I'm dropping a bike. I've been off for 2 weeks. I got this is not like riding a bike. All right, man. Have a good night.
All right.